Hi, it's Coach Mark here. Right, good to see you on my channel. If you haven't been with me before, warm welcome. Hit the subscribe if you want to follow what I'm going to be talking about in 2026. So a little bit about me and what we're doing here. I'm trying something new. Okay, many of you who've worked with me in the past online in various online forums, coaching sessions all around the world will know that I'm a pretty motivational kind of guy, but you don't know the full story, or some of you might, some of you don't. So let me just give you a brief overview. I'm Coach Mark in Manila, because that's where I'm currently based in the Philippines. I ended up here in 2019, and it wasn't totally by choice to stay. I got stuck here in the pandemic, and at that period of time I suffered COVID 8 times, and it did a lot of damage to my body. At that particular point my life seemed to fall apart. Everything seemed to be swept away. So I lost my businesses in the UK, I lost family, I lost relationships, I lost my health, I lost money. Now, I say lost because back then I would have told that same story, but I didn't lose anything. Here's the thing I'm about to speak to you about in 2026. I'm going to help you, yes you, to discover how your biggest challenges, your most horrific nightmares are the biggest gifts. Now let me explain the biggest gift. Look at this. Let me share this with you. So this, and I don't know, probably it's going to be mirrored, but it says finisher 21 kilometers. This is a medal that I got about 3 weeks ago in my first half marathon in the Philippines. Now, okay, so what? Big deal, right? No big deal. But for a guy who literally at one point had to sign himself out of outpatients and said, I accept that I could die because I needed inpatient treatment and I couldn't afford it because of the COVID infection affecting my kidneys and my heart, okay? This was significant. This is not just a medal. When I ran past the 6 kilometer marker saying, you've run 6 kilometers. Now I shouted out loud to everybody's probably amusement around me, I haven't run 6 kilometers. I run 6 years out here, 6 years. So at the time, as I said to you, I thought I'd lost everything, but I hadn't. I'd gained the world. Now you might think that's crazy to say that. Why am I so thankful for all of that happening? Like everything got swept away in the pandemic, and most people probably would have given up. Most people would have said, I quit. And trust me, many times, many of you who perhaps work with me won't have seen this clearly, but I thought, yeah, it's over, what's the point? But there was something inside of me that said, no, it ain't gonna go down this way. And in 2026 and beyond, this is my mission, to teach as many people worldwide, on YouTube, elsewhere, online, speaking worldwide, how to get the same mindset, how to transform your lives from what you think is your biggest disasters, your biggest immovable challenges into something fantastic, okay? Now it's all about what goes on up here, and most importantly, how you feel about yourself. So the mistake I made for about 5 years was this. I kept narrating the same story. When people would ask me, how did you end up here? What's going on for you? Why are you still there? Blah, blah, blah. I'd repeat that same story of loss, of this and that and whatever. Big mistake. Because the first thing is, every time you relate and sort of narrate that story, you are literally solidifying it in your mind. Your subconscious hears that story, and your subconscious doesn't know any different between reality and what you speak about. So it just kept repeating the same cycle for me, showing me still the same lack, the same no progress, same ill health. It was a spiral that I was in. Okay, the most successful people I've coached over many years, and myself included in that, because I coached myself as I went, is this: we change our mindset, we change the narrative. If you can't say something great about your situation, don't say it at all. Just say to people, well, I'm just having an interesting quiet time at the moment, I'll get back to you when I feel like chatting. You don't have to explain yourself to anybody. So first rule, if you're having a really sucky life right now, stop speaking about it to people. I'm not saying don't get professional help. So if you're struggling with suicidal feelings, depression, despair, anxiety, you might like to go and speak to someone who's an expert in that. Okay, reach out and get that help. But if it's simply that you're just having a tough time, you've got to know this first away. The world is a mirror. So it will reflect back to you whatever you are saying and most importantly feeling and believing about yourself. So feeling is the secret. Okay, so if you really do believe that story you keep narrating of why you're having a hard time, it might be a job, it might be a partner, it might be your kids, it might be money, it might be health, whatever it is, there's a good chance that if you look at what you're doing and be honest with yourself, you're narrating the same story of lack, don't have it, wish it was better, when I get it I'll feel better, and that feeling sucks. And your feeling is vibrating that reality, and then the mirror outside of you is reflecting, no, don't have the job still, don't have the kids behaving, don't have the opportunities, don't have the money. Okay, we want to get out of that, totally get out of that. So most people say, Mark, that sounds brilliant, and you know, I'd love to feel that way, but how the hell do I feel that way when it really does suck? And I'm not saying it doesn't. You're quite right. If you got yourself into that sucky place, and I am going to say that if you or I, because we do it to ourselves, get ourselves into that sucky place by what we've been thinking and feeling over a consistent period of time, we're kind of in a bit of a tough spot, right? But you can get out of it. So the simple thing is this: you can't jump from feeling totally depressed or despairing and hopeless to, oh, everything's fine in my world, right? Too big a jump. Some people can, but for most people, it's too big an ask. And depending on how long you've been spending time there, if it's years, then it might take a little bit longer. So all we want to do here, and what I did here, was find just small, tiny things you can be thankful for in the middle of the suckiness, okay? So we know it sucks, all right? It's okay, but we don't keep focusing on, yeah, and it still sucks. So I used to find things like the beautiful birds outside of my window. I used to find a nice, decent cup of coffee in the morning for myself. The fact that where I was living previously, that no one was drilling and hammering that morning, because it was like living on a building site and being tortured 24/7 with noise there. So when I had those moments of calm, I was like, isn't this beautiful? Aren't I so lucky to have that today? Just today. We're not focusing then about, yeah, but maybe not tomorrow, or maybe in, you know, next week it won't be so good, because that's where the mind, the conscious mind, will try to take us. No, we just focus in now. Now is all we have, and now I'm going to find 5 things, no matter what it is, that you can feel grateful for. So that's your little challenge for today. Find 5 things today that you can say right now in this red hot minute, wherever you are watching this, think 5 things you're thankful for. It might be you're happening to sit on a bus taking you somewhere so you don't have to stand up. That's comfortable. I'm sat in a seat and I'm being transported to where I want to go. Aren't I lucky? Okay, it's as simple as that, right? Aren't I lucky that I've got data on my cell phone to watch YouTube videos wherever I go? Beautiful. How amazing that you've got that. You know, I was a dinosaur, I still am a dinosaur, and I'm always happy to continue being a dinosaur. Remember the time when there was none of this at all. Okay? How amazing is it that you can just, in your pocket, just pick something out and watch something connect to people who are going to help you change your life or make you smile. Find something funny in your day. Look around you and just make little funny stories about what you're seeing. Instead of looking for always the negative, look for the positive. All right, humor is a great thing in the face of adversity. I use humor so much. At times when things go wrong, because they still go wrong at times, instead of taking the action of wringing my hands and going, oh, woe is me, and it's all doomed, no, I just sit there and laugh now like some crazy man. And I'm sure people think I'm crazy. And that's the final piece of advice I'm going to give you. We don't care what people think. Stop caring what people think, and I mean that seriously. I don't care whether it's your mum, your partner, your boss, okay? We're not saying do something reckless and tell them you don't think it, but internally, you just release all attachment to people's judgments or thoughts about you. We just don't care. Because if you're trying to please everybody, if you're still trying to split yourself in half or multiple times to please your kids, your partner, your boss, make sure you fit in with everybody's version of you, guess what? There's no you. All right. You got to find you first. So that's me for today. I'm just going to be jumping in and off here when I feel like it, okay? But I'm here to leave these motivational tips and points of view, also to share some of my journey as I go along. Here's the thing, yeah, I did get that one, my half marathon, and I'm currently going to enter a full marathon in less than a week's time, and I got some leg injuries. The thing is, When you speak to people, they say you should really miss that, you shouldn't run that, you shouldn't do that, that's 42 kilometers. I'm not saying be reckless, I'm not saying be stupid, but you've got to listen to what you believe about yourself and how your body really feels. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm still gently working my way, still assuming I'm going to take part in that marathon in less than a week's time. We're going to see what happens, okay, and I'm going to share it here, whether I go or whether I don't, whether I succeed, whether I don't. All that matters is it's the journey, people. The journey is the destination. I used to say to so many clients online, particularly in the pandemic, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's an eternal journey. Okay, so you've got all the time in the world, people. Just remember, follow your bliss. Look for small things in your day. That's your challenge for today. Find small things in your day to be grateful for. You've got to get into that feeling place and start believing and focusing on you first. Okay? More to come soon. Take care, stay safe, and remember, you, only you, can create your own reality. Good luck.